table, then you can use the command called show IP BGP neighbor advertise routes. Advertise routes will help you to see the sending routes, whatever routes you are sending to your neighbor router. Now we will talk about the BGP path attributes. See, this is very important topic, BGP path attributes for interview and also for real-time interview. First question is that why BGP need attributes? Simple. See, BGP will receive multiple paths to reach same network. Now it has to decide which is the best path for me. Because same IP I am using via multiple different ways to my router. So which one should I use as a best path? So that is where your BGP path attribute comes in. To take a decision, we use something called path attribute. Now there are main four categories. One is called well-known mandatory, well-known discretionary, optional transitive, and optional non-transitive. Well-known mandatory means compulsory, must send. So you take R1, you take R2, R3. I'm telling that whenever I'm sending an IP address to my R2, you must send this particular attributes. So whenever route is advertised, these must be included. First one is origin. Origin tells where this route came from. Example, is it IGP or is it EGP or incomplete? Incomplete means redistribution. Now things like the birth certificate for a router. Second is AS path. List of AS numbers the route has traveled. Very important word, AS path. Because that is where your lead prevention happens. Example, imagine we are traveling from Chennai to Bangalore, Bangalore to Mumbai, Mumbai to Delhi. This path is like AS path. And shortest AS path is always equal to best AS path. In many cases, shortest is best path. Next hop. So when I say next hop, where to send the packet? If next hop is wrong, the traffic will fail. This is like Google Map telling your next hop. That is the next hop. Next hop information is very important. Without next hop information, I will not be able to send or receive the traffic. Next is your well-known discretionary. So discretionary means optional but recognized ability that local preference. It is used inside layers to choose exit path. When you have multiple exit path to go outside your in a AS network, then this EIGRP, local preference is used to choose the best exit path. Next, high value is equal to better path. Example, you have two internet links, which one to use? Local preference will decide that. Talking about your optional transitive. Optional means not compulsory. Transitive means it can travel across days. Now when you talk about the community, we have community as the attribute. This is like tagging routes. You tag route as high priority, backup route, or even you can tell block this route. See, based on tag, routers are take decisions. Then we got optional non-transitive. It will not go outside the layers. That's what it means. When I say optional non-transitive, it will stay within that AS only. It cannot go beyond the AS. Example, cluster list. Use in round reflector to avoid any sort of loops. These are advanced topics that you must mainly use for the prevention. Okay? So remember key points guys. Optional attribute means not all routers must understand them, but still they will forward them. Non-transitive means will not leave the AS. BGP sends routing information using what? Using NLRI, network layer reachability information. Simply think like your OSP basic IP. Here, these attributes are very important. I have already explained it. IGP, EGP, and all. You can see it later. Now talking about your loop prevention mechanism of EBGP. See, EBGP is a path vector. Sorry, BGP itself is a path vector routing protocol and does not contain complete topology of networks like your OSP and all. So loop prevention mechanism is very important because you don't know about the complete path vector. In that case, how can I avoid the loops? Simple word, they say if I receive an IP address from my neighbor and I see my own AS number in the receiving route update, then I will simply discard the route. See, whenever an IP address crosses an AS, right, it will keep on adding its own AS number in the path. So whenever it comes back the original guy, so in case it's coming back, I will simply discard it because I see my own AS in that list. Because so it means this IP address it has already gone through the loop. In IBGP loop avoidances, an IBGP LAN route will not be transferred to another IBGP router. See, from here to here my IP will come, no problem. But here to here, it will come because an EBGP LAN route can go to IBGP, but an IBGP LAN route cannot go to another IBGP router. Why? Because see if it goes, imagine it goes. So it can go here also, here also, here also, it can, here also it comes. It can keep on going like.
Make it.
Next is here. Let's understand the inter-router communication of your BGP. See, BGP is different from IGP, how it discovers and communicates further and all. Unlike your IGP, like OSP, DHCP, it does not have any hello packet mechanism. Meaning, BGP cannot find its own name by himself. So you have to manually tell him who is his neighbor. That is very important point here. The IGP can find out who is his neighbor by himself. But BGP cannot find out who is his neighbor by himself. And BGP requires manual configuration. You have to manually tell who is your neighbor. And BGP forms neighbor to TCP port number 179. So make sure TCP port number 179 is open and available. If TCP is blocked by firewall or not, it will not work properly. And BGP also relies on path MTU discovery, meaning it can handle DF fragment bit. Not fragment bit means when the packet is originating, at that time itself we tell him that hey, we should not break them into pieces. That's called do not fragment bit. So for that to confirm, DGP need to confirm if all the MTU of the interface are proper. If it is proper, then not fragment can achieve. So that is achievable with help of path MTU discovery. If only mismatch happens, then we might need to break the packets. Please write this down.
Memory full of.
Next is your time to labor. So you know what is KTL, right? KTL helps us in defining how much hops our packet can cost. Talking about IBGP packet now, here time to value is 250. For EBGP, time to value is 1. For IBGP, AD is 200. For EBGP, AD is 20. You have to buy half this. Meaning, I can form IBGP connection between R2 and R4 given. But when I form an EBGP connection, I need to make sure they are directly connected. Mainly for security reasons. I need to make sure the people are directly connected. If you want, you can overdo this by the help of a command called EBGP multi-op command. So, nobody does that, okay? Now talking about messages in BGP, we have mainly 4 messages. Open, update, notification, keep alive. Open messages are used when I am trying to establish an adjacency with my neighbor. It includes version number, AS number, hold down timer, BGP identifier, all these BGP identifiers like a router. All these things are included when I am sending in the same that neighborship. once the membership is formed, every 60
ಸರಿ ಸರಿ ಹಂಗೆ ಇರ್ತಿಲ್ಲ
will go like a hello packet to maintain that
ಹಾ
membership. Update will come.
Number something, ma?
Send the same IP address. See, when you